I don't want to be strong like man who look pretty. I want to be strong like bitch that fight bears in the forest.
Welcome to another episode of Bitch vs. Bear with your hosts, me, Amber, and my bestie, Sydney.
Woohoo!
We are co-owners of Shield Maiden Training Co., and this is a show where we bitch, laugh, and chat about all things fitness and wellness related to women and the LGBTQIA+ community. All right, here we go.
What are we talking about this week, Amber?
This week. So this week's topic is a bit abstract, which I kind of love. But it's incredibly important when structuring your fitness and wellness routine. This week, we're talking about how to determine what you should be doing and who defines the should.
The should.
This is another listener submitted topic.
It is.
Very excited.
I'm very excited. I know. We were like picking topics and we were thinking about things, and I was like, this is so abstract, but it's also such a like fascinating one because we all do it.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting, and it was really interesting to research.
Mhm.
So we're going to give you what the Webster's Dictionary definition of the word should is.
Okay.
So should is used to indicate obligation, duty, or correctness. Typically when criticizing someone's actions, they
Ooh.
believe we should be doing something is rooted in other people's expectations, not our own. And when we think should be doing something, it's because our friends, family, or society has convinced us it's the right thing to do.
Okay.
Yeah. So with that understanding, it's important to recognize that we often think what we think we should do is often something that we do not want to do.
Imagine that. This is a fun topic.
It is a fun topic because we all do this.
Yeah.
And most of us do it multiple times a day, and we don't even recognize when we're doing it.
Okay. So when we reference that we should be doing something, more often than not, it's coming from a place of guilt.
Go back to
There's that guilt again that we talked about last
Yeah.
week. So the word should creates pressure, insecurity, and feels judgmental.
it does.
I don't like that. When we say we should do something, we should be doing something, it belittles our existing choices. It indicates that what we are currently doing isn't enough.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
I know, right? Okay. So here are probably some of the most common examples that you listeners
Yeah.
use in your everyday life. And it's definitely the ones we hear
Yeah.
most frequently. I should be working out more.
Mm.
I should be sleeping more or better.
You don't say that.
I know. I should be eating healthier.
I say that.
Yeah. I should stop drinking alcohol. So the unspoken ending to all of those sentences are, but I don't. Or, but I'm not. So we're reinforcing the negative and the fact that we're not doing whatever it is that we think we should be doing, right?
Yeah.
So whatever the specific shoulds on your list are, they always add up to the same should. You should be doing better.
Yeah.
Like that's really what that is like you feel like you're not doing enough and that you are somehow failing in the choices that you're making.
Yeah. And that is so judgy.
It is. It is not being kind and compassionate to yourself.
No, like maybe what I'm doing is enough.
Yeah.
Okay. So how can we overcome the habit of shoulding ourselves?
When I wrote that, I didn't recognize how funny that would sound.
I did, and I loved it.
Oh, that's amazing. Another one for me.
I feel like I heard this. I feel like another podcast that I was listening to was talking about this a little bit or touched on it in one of their episodes. And it was great. Anyways, okay. So how do we overcome shoulding ourselves? First, recognize that it gets in the way of our goals. It's a form of self-criticism, and that suggests we don't accept who or where or what we are.
Oh, that's sad.
Right? I don't love
like
it.
that.
it creates stress and anxiety, which is not what we want.
This is not what we want. And when I was thinking about my own personal, sorry, my headphones are sliding. When I was thinking about my own, like when I do this,
Mhm.
it definitely increases my stress and anxiety when I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm like sitting and reading, and then I go, oh, well, I should be going for a run. Like it just elevates my heart rate because I'm just like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm not doing this other thing that I guess I have time for, but I don't really want to be doing.
Right. It's judgy.
Yeah.
You're judging yourself poorly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, there's nothing wrong with having a goal if it's based on something you genuinely want for yourself. It's great to have a focus to work towards and a metric to measure your progress against. However, when we should ourselves, we undermine ourselves from the start.
Yeah, because you're not setting yourself up for success in that situation.
No, you're already telling yourself that whatever you're doing isn't good enough.
Exactly. It's like, I should eat healthier, but this burger looks good. So I'm going to eat it anyway. And then, like,
And then you feel bad. You feel like you're failing before you even begin. And
and then you're like, well, if I already feel that way, I might as well not even start.
it's a vicious cycle.
It is a vicious cycle.
So good.
Okay. So, yeah, when you're doing this, you're not focusing on the benefits. It's more like the expectations of others, right? Like you're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it because other people have told you at some point or in some regard that you should be doing something else.
Yeah.
So it's important to identify like why you want to do a particular thing or like why you're shoulding yourself in that moment. So, like, when you say something like, I should go on a run,
Mhm.
try and identify, like, what are you actually trying to get out of that? Is it because you want to improve your cardiovascular health? Because you want to lose weight? Like, what's the underlying goal there? And why do you feel like you should go on that run?
Right.
Is it for yourself or is it because society has told you that you have to go on a run to be skinny?
Right.
Yeah.
Good point.
Or another example is like, I should stop drinking versus something like, I sleep better and feel better when I don't consume alcohol. So, like, everything, a lot of things we talk about is like underlying, like, what's the underlying thing? And for this, I think it is really when you find yourself saying, I should be doing this, it's like, okay, let's go back to the start. It's like, I don't actually like to run. So why am I doing it? Because all all growing up in high school, that was the only form of exercise that was allowed for
Right.
women. Like, like where is it actually stemming from?
Yeah. I thought this was a really interesting topic. And I think it, as with a lot of things that we talk about here, connected with conversations that we just had in our outside lives.
Ah, yeah.
Because, what was it last weekend? I don't know. Last time I was over at y'all's house, we were talking about Shelby and I were talking about wine,
Yeah,
obviously. Uh,
obviously.
and, it, I don't know. I feel like there's this connotation where like, oh, you should be drinking less alcohol and this and that. And I'm like, why? Like I have made the decision to no longer feel guilty about my wine consumption because I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I am not at a stage where it's a problem. I don't drink at inappropriate times. I don't overindulge every night. Like I'm not drinking at work.
Amber inappropriate times, like on the toilet. That's the only thing in my mind that I was like, I'm sure there are other inappropriate times to be drinking, but I was like, yeah, I probably wouldn't drink and shit either.
I mean, I was thinking more of like, I'm not cracking open a bottle of wine at 8 a.m. or in the middle of my workday, but yeah, that too.
Okay. Just that when you were like, it's inappropriate times. I was like, what's an inappropriate time? Sorry,
Yeah.
it's a strange place in my mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I agree. And I think, I remember this conversation.
Right?
Like
Yeah.
what Stem did. It was, I saw, as I do, I saw something on the internet.
As we all do.
Shelby shares a Reddit fact. That was like an Instagram influencer or somebody funny who was like pretending to go and order a pumpkin spice latte. And the barista was like, how original, one of those things. She's like, you want to take this one simple joy away from me that like, I enjoy this.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a seasonal favorite, and there's so many things in the world that like deserve my time and attention, and that those kinds of things don't take this away from me. It's not a
Right.
problem. Like, what do you want me to order? Like gasoline? Like to be original? Like why are we shooting ourselves to death?
Right. And out of things that we enjoy.
Yeah. If you enjoy, if you're one of those people who is a 35-year-old man and you enjoy playing Dungeons and Dragons, like do
Do
your
it.
thing. Like you're not hurting anybody by doing that.
I mean, as long as you're not hurting anybody by doing that.
Yes.
I mean, there are certain, work obligations and life obligations that we still need to meet. But I think as long as we're meeting our needs and doing what we need to do, like enjoy your life.
enjoy your life. Enjoy your glass of wine socially or not while you're
Yeah.
reading. Who cares? If you enjoy a pumpkin spice latte, go get your pumpkin spice latte. Don't let society tell you like you're a basic white bitch. You know what? I want to be a basic white bitch.
Yeah.
I get very few prerogatives in this world. That is one that I was granted.
We were
I'm-
just talking about that
I'm
before.
just, I'm gonna order my pumpkin spice latte. Not me personally. I'm not a big fan of the pumpkin spice
not
latte. I
yet.
prefer chai tea lattes.
Mm.
But I will order a peppermint mocha.
Oh my God, I love peppermint mocha.
So like,
Can't wait for that season.
don't roll up to the Starbucks window and look at the calories on your pumpkin spice
Ugh.
latte and say, I should order something else. Like,
Yeah.
no, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Spend your $4. You're not buying a house, millennial. You didn't.
Right.
Like,
It's not going to make or break your life.
yeah. The avocado
Let's
toast
be real.
won't kill you.
And I think that leads to, I mean, this was all fairly lighthearted shooting, but I think there is this deeper thing, and this is something I've been thinking about as an elder millennial,
Mid-30s.
mid to late 30s,
Mid to late 30s.
heading into 37. Is this feeling of I should be hitting these mile markers in my life because that's what my parents did. Like,
Yes.
I'm not married. I don't have a partner. I don't have kids. I don't own a home. I mean, I've been at my job for 7 years, so I guess that's a long stint, but like, I haven't been in this career my whole life. Like, and I think it's hard for folks in our generation and younger to I think we're grappling with that with our lives.
It's-
Like, where should we be in our lives versus where are we at now and what works for us?
Yeah.
Because we look at those older generations and those were the mile markers
Yeah.
of like adulthood and moving through your life and making progress and feeling like you're going somewhere.
It's interesting that you bring that up. And I pulled up my phone for a very specific reason because in gay culture, there's a concept around this because we don't hit mile markers
Right.
at the same time. And it's an interesting thing that you're feeling it because I think more people feel that way and they should themselves into I should buy a home, but they don't look at like,
Do you
cost
really
amount-
want to?
Do you really want to own a home? Like, is that really beneficial for your life? Or is
Mhm.
that just something that, your parents or your grandparents and that's the milestone of like independence?
Yeah.
You live a very independent life. I am strapped to having to take care of my house all the time.
It's true. I could pick up and move.
Yeah. So like I think it's really interesting of like we really are shooting ourselves into all of these scenarios that we then get into and you're like,
Do I really want to end up here?
is this right for me? And then feeling a lot of guilt and regret about
Mhm.
those decisions. And it's like, but you didn't really make that of your own volition.
Right. Or on the alternative side, also feeling guilt and like not really FOMO, but like feeling like we're not quote unquote progressing through our lives because we're not meeting those. Because we don't own a home, because we didn't have kids, because we're not married, whatever.
You didn't hit the arbitrary goals.
Yeah.
That's
Whatever
just
totally arbitrary goals are.
Amber, you were just throwing it back. You are the I like how
This is what I've been grappling with. This
Okay.
is my
So I think this is this is hysterical because we always joke about like the witchy, like, well, let's just like a witchy coven.
it is my dream.
But like, like the spinsters, which by the way, spinsters were like 40-year-old women who
Hashtag goals.
right. They had like they owned their own businesses, like they provided and like weren't
Yes.
married. They were dreams. They were
It was
making
the dream.
dreams. And so like it's always been prevalent in our culture of like women of your age who don't hit those mile markers are like labeled as other. But it's
Right.
like, what if
That's what a witch is. It's the woman who is not conforming to social norms or
yeah.
what society thinks women should be doing,
So
which is bananas.
you are a witch, and I'm so
Yes.
happy for you. You have done it. You have made life goals.
I have pinnacle. What do I do from here?
I don't know. You're gonna have to ask Sarah Paulson and go back and watch what is it? American Horror Story.
That is on my to do for this rainy weekend.
It's so great.
Uh, sorry, I feel like I interrupted you. Pulled out your phone. We were going to talk about some gay things.
Oh, no. But it's a common that's a common thing that I think those of us in the LGBTQ community are like we're really familiar with not hitting traditional heterosexual milestones.
Makes sense.
And so it was just interesting to hear that also other people feel that way because like we kind of feel like an island of like, you know, we don't get married on the same timelines. We don't find our, we don't have our first love at the same kind of
Hmm.
timeline and those kinds of things. So like what people experience in high school, many of us experienced in college. And like, so we're like
Right.
a little delayed in everything. And not that being delayed in hitting milestones is a bad thing.
No, but it does elicit that same kind of
Yeah.
like, I'm not doing things right. I
Yeah.
should be doing it differently, or I should be hitting these, or
Exactly. And so I think it's just I don't know. I think it's like, oh, hey, more people probably have that in common of like
Mhm.
not feeling that way. Um, but also I look around Amber's apartment who has wall to wall closets
just
in
in
her
one room.
in her bedroom, and I'm like, I got one tiny. I don't even have a full closet. Shelby takes up the whole closet in the primary bedroom. I am relegated to the guest room closet.
I mean, to be fair, you have 2 other rooms that also have closets.
Yeah, but we could put our 3 closets together in our house, and they still wouldn't equal the amount of closet space that you have.
It is a pretty nice closet.
Luckily, I have a walk-up attic, but
That is true.
but like you're living like I wouldn't say like when I look in from it as an outsider perspective, to be like, oh, you're missing out on life. I'm like, no, not in. You get to make your own schedule. You have a great apartment. You have a balcony. Like you do what you want when you want. Like
Mhm.
I'm like, that's pretty great. Like, and let's be honest, you don't want a partner.
I mean,
You want a partner, but like they're gonna have to adapt.
yeah. Yeah.
remember the Instagram I sent you?
Which one?
I sent it for an Instagram last night that
You
was
sent me so many.
hysterical. I was like, "Don't worry, your soulmate is now filing divorce papers."
It's true. Okay, so that's the era I'm in for dating, and it's weird, man.
That was a tangent,
That was a tangent,
but
and I
it was
love it.
all about shitting
Yeah,
and
and I think it's
the
important.
pitfalls of
Yeah.
shitting.
I was so excited for this episode.
Yeah,
So I was like, I have things to talk about.
it is great. Yeah, I think this episode is one of those ones that snuck up on us. Of like, it's actually a really great topic and probably not one that a lot of people think about all the time, but something we all do.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
I sit here and think about it all the time.
With our glass of wine and
With my glass of wine.
Yeah.
And my
You-
Yoga for Witches book.
You think about it because you read things like Throne of Glass, and you're like, why am I not leading a witch's coven?
Right? With my
Falling in love
dragon.
with a princeling who lets you
Um,
go off and do your own
right?
thing.
That's what I want.
Yeah. That's goals.
That's why I like that pairing. Like he's gonna go run his kingdom, I'm gonna go run my kingdom, and it's gonna be fine.
We're gonna love each other and we'll come together, and then we'll
Yeah.
you get to go ride a dragon.
Yeah. It's gonna be great.
It's great.
Okay. So because so much of our behavior is driven by should, we're losing our ability to distinguish what we really want from whatever, our life, our fitness, our not. We've been taught that we should want. We've been taught what we should want, but no longer know what we actually want, and often confuse the two, as we just talked about.
As we just talked about.
So becoming aware of our relationship with should and want gives us freedom and allows us to determine our own futures outside of societal, family, whatever pressures.
Amazing.
Amazing. Maybe we'll finally decide what we want to be when we grow up.
I don't think I ever will.
No, I'm still TBD.
I'm okay with that.
So when we're aware of the forces that are driving our actions, we can decide how we want to live and break free from the expectations of should.
Oh, that was a very like poetic.
It was. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Thanks. Sometimes I do well.
You did great. It's a good episode.
I love this episode.
Yeah.
So that's a wrap. You should start considering what you want out of life and
Yeah.
maybe stop shitting yourself all the shitting time. I love this episode. Okay, we're gonna run a little experiment. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
More homework.
More homework. So start by becoming aware of how many times you shit yourself during the day. Then ask yourself, why should I? Why? Who says I should? Do I really want to do this? Not do this? Does it align with my goals? So by questioning when you do that, you're going to help yourself recognize that you have a choice in that moment.
Yeah.
And that's going to lead to the freedom, which we all want.
Yes.
I think we all want freedom.
It would seem so.
Yeah. So, and it can also help you reframe it from I should do this to I get to do this, because
Yes.
it actually aligns with my goals and it's something that I have identified as a want of mine. And I think that's pretty amazing.
And we love some reflection time.
Oh, we do love reflection time. So please let us know how many times you shoulded yourself during the day. I expect text messages. I shoulded myself 12 times today.
And the person who recommended this episode, we would like to hear from you specifically.
Yes.
Awesome.
All right.
Keep listening. We've got a couple more listener episodes this month. And then it's our 1 year anniversary.
It is. That's a wrap. Cue music.